All right, welcome to another Pun 2 tutorial. I have to keep remembering the camera's up there. So if you watched my last video, we did a multiplayer setup and loaded in a player. The very first video was just setting everything up, setting up this little debug canvas so you know what's going on, and then loading up. The second video was creating the player, loading up the players, and syncing their position and rotation. The next thing I wanted to show you all is how to do RPC calls, and I thought a great way to do that would be to make a chat room. Now, Photon does have its own chat service. I actually haven't gotten into it that much because there's not really PlayMaker actions for it, but if you really wanted to use it, you could just by using their demo scenes and just editing the UI and whatnot. But learning how to build a chat room out of RPCs, even though it might not be the best way, it gives you a great understanding of how RPCs work. So I'm in the old project, but I'm back on my office computer. And if you were curious about like why I have this little orange dot on my old scene, it's because I'm using Unity Collaborate. If you haven't looked into Unity Collaborate, I encourage you to do so. It's not just for teams. It's also a great way to back up your project and to be able to work on it from several computers. Connected, let's build the chat room. So we already have a canvas here. My camera, I don't even know where it's pointing, but the only thing I did was I changed it from projection to orthographic, changed the projection from perspective to orthographic, but it doesn't really matter because our canvas is, I have it on screen space overlay. And it's going to scale with the screen size. So it doesn't really matter what our camera is pointed at. We're still going to have our canvas here. All right, so maybe I want to... Let's just keep it all in the same canvas. Why not? So what I'll do is I will, on this canvas, I want to create a new scroll view because you're going to want to scroll through chat. All right, and let's go ahead and normally I'd come in here and I'd just stretch it all out, but I don't want it to fill the whole screen because I don't really want it to overlap on that. Let's just do, I don't know, let's just make this height a lot more. And if you notice, because I'm not using a 3D scene, I'm not in scene view. I'm just kind of, whoa, I popped out my scene view. I'm not in scene view. I'm just staying in game view because it's simple enough that way. All right, my scroll view, my width, let's go 600. Let's go 800. I don't know, let's go 1200. That looks good. And let's position it like here-ish. Okay, and I'm not going to need a horizontal scroll bar, so horizontal scroll bar, we'll just delete it from there, and we'll delete the actual horizontal scroll bar child. And scroll bar vertical, I actually want to increase the width of that a bit, and bring the bottom down. And inside the scroll bar, let's make our sliding area. Our sliding area is stretching right now. Actually, you know what? I think we have to do that in the scroll view. Scroll view, scroll bar vertical. There we go. So in scroll bar vertical, rather than the size being 1, I'm just going to bring it down to like that. And let's make the value, okay, we're all the way at the top, right? And then, yeah, so this is how I'm starting that out. And here we have our viewport. So this is where we're looking inside the scroll view, and here's our content. Now, one thing for, I don't want to have to guess how big our content is. If we go into our scene, right now our content is only that big. And so our scroll bar isn't going to know to get any bigger. So on my content, I'm going to add a content size fitter. And on my vertical fit, I'm going to put it as preferred size. So here we have our content size fitter. But so if I come in here and I drop in a panel, the panel is 0, 0, 0, 0 because it tries to make itself the size of what its parent is. That's what panels do. The content is still 0, 0, 0. So what we need to do is we need to add a vertical layout group. And I don't need to, we can control the width. Not going to expand the height. So now if we go to our panel and we make our panel the size that we want, like let's make it 30, and we go back to our content, notice our content is now 30. All right, and there's a little panel there. So what we're doing now is our this panel is going to represent our chat entry. All right, so I'll call this chat entry. And so on this chat entry, let's go ahead and start it at like 100. All right. And let's just double check our scene real quick, make sure our content, yes, great. So our chat entry. And one thing I like to do is randomize the colors a bit. Just for a very, very simple chat room, I like to randomize the color of the panel. So every time someone submits a new message, it just makes it easier to keep track of it's a new message and it doesn't blend in with the others. Another thing we can do is add some padding. So right now, if I have more chat entries, there's not a lot of padding. Actually, it looks pretty good. But I can add like some top and bottom padding. So I can go like 10 pixels on top, 10 pixels on bottom, and that will no. That's the layout group's padding. Spacing between them, let's do like 10, and that'll give it a little bit of separation. All right, so our chat entry. One thing we can do is I'm going to put an FSM on here, and we're going to get random color. So we need to pick some colors here. So I like to go with 6, and we're just going to pick like green, and then yellow, and then like an orange, and then like a reddish, and then go to a pink, and then go to a purple. You know, let's add a few more. Let's go like 8. Just so we can get like almost all the colors of the rainbow here. Go to like a dark blue, and then let's do like a lightish teal blue. Yeah, good times. Store color as random color. And I can't remember how I did this before. I'm just going to drag image over here. So I'm just going to drag this component from the chat entry. So this is the panel. I'm dragging the image. I'm dropping it in here, and I'm going to go to set property. And before I do that, let's just see image. Yeah, because on UI image, I don't really have a set color. I guess we could check the ecosystem. Image color. UI color. We can get the colors. Wait, maybe we have set color. Color. Select random color, set color. We can set a color value. There we go. Set GUI color. Sets the tinting color for the GUI. By default, only affects GUI rendered by this FSM. Okay, so that's not going to work because we're not rendering it. Yeah, so set color. UI set color block. Ooh, UI graphics set color. This might work. Rather than set property. Because if you can't avoid set property, you want to. I don't remember why. But it's saying that we can do it on this. So let's go random color. So I can remove this set property. And let's just hit play. I should have turned off the Photon proxy. There we go. Random color. Sweetness. All right, cool. But let's go ahead and turn that off now while I'm thinking about it. Okay, so chat entry. So we're getting a random color of our panel. But now we need a text object inside this panel. But we also want I don't know, let's just go UI Text Mesh Pro, and let's make it black. I think that'll stand out best in all our colors. And I want to stretch it all the way. And let's get ourselves a little margins. So left 10, top 10, right 10, bottom 10. And I'm going to turn on auto size, which is going to make our chat kind of ugly. Oh no, let's not do auto size. Let's keep our chat that size. And what happens if we add a content size fitter to this? Now, one thing to know about content size fitter is it doesn't update instantly. So if you ever find that like you're doing something and the content size fitter isn't updating itself, you can always have an FSM that whenever you update something will disable the size fitter and then re-enable the size fitter, and that'll force it to update. All right, content size fitter. Not on the text. Well, yes on the text. Vertical fit, minimum size, chat entry. We want our panel then to fit what's in the text. So we need a content size fitter on the panel too. So this is where things can get a little and even here it's giving us a warning that a parent has a type of layout group component, a child of layout group component should not have a size fitter component since it should be driven by the layout group. Oh, yeah, and we just jacked that up. So let's remove that. So undo, there we go. Remove component. So if we have a whole bunch of text, why are you down there? Because our content size fitter, I'm going to put this up in the top left. And let's make sure it's still stretched. See, it's not. It's not. How did I do this before? It's not fitting inside the text portion. But now I want to also stretch it. So the text, I don't think is that yellow box. That's the margins, right? Yeah, that's the margins. So my top and bottom margins. Weird. What's happening? Because this is where the text should be. I'm deleting this text. All right, we're starting over. Chat entry, UI, Text Mesh Pro, and we want to fill this whole panel. And we're going to make it black. And I kind of like that text size. I'm going to go back to margin 10 there, margin 10 there. And you know, we're going to do it all the way around. So what happens if we have a whole bunch of text? All right, it's doing that. But this, we have our vertical layout group and our content size fitter. If we hit control child size, yeah, we don't want that on its height. So undo, undo. What if we force expand the height? That doesn't seem to be doing anything. Yeah, that's yucky. So that's not doing jack for us. If we go to our chat entry, the panel itself, what if we add a vertical layout group to this? That's something. All right. Control child size width. and height. So if we go to scene, it is filling the panel. I'm going to pause this for a second and try to think about how we can get the panel to size to the text.
Hi, Philip from the future here. I'm editing the video. I cut out a pretty big chunk of me fighting with getting the text to resize. When I cut part of that out, though, you're going to miss where I add a vertical layout group to the panel so that it will resize the text. So that's one thing that you'll notice in the inspectors. I've also added a vertical layout group to the panel itself. Back to the video.
All right, so I like to think of myself as a UI expert, but then I run into things like this. So I have one more thing that I think will work, and if it doesn't, then we're just going to ignore it for now because this isn't supposed to be a UI tutorial. All right, so what we're going to do is really on the content of the viewport, we don't really need the layout group, so I unchecked that now, but I do have its content size fitter. Actually, I'll go ahead and remove the vertical layout group because I really shouldn't need it.
Are you sure about that?
Oh man, but I do need it because I need it to automatically space everything out. Because once I removed it, the content size fitter worked to fix the issue. And otherwise, it's just stuff's going to overlap on top of each other. So I need a vertical layout group. But let's not control any of the sizes. We're going to keep our child aligned top left. So here is our chat entry panel. It's got a vertical layout group for its text, but then let's also have this a content size fitter. Now it's saying that it shouldn't have one, but I think we'll be okay. Let's see, preferred. So I chose preferred instead of minimum. So now it's made the text fit it. So if I come over now and I have another chat entry, all right, super. So the vertical layout group is handling that. All right, and just to double check, actually we'll leave that. What did I just do? Oh, edit, redo, and then duplicate. All right, so we have two texts there. Let's just hit play, and we should see that they randomize their colors. They both chose yellow for some reason. That happens. Okay. All right. So we're good there. So we're going to delete that guy. The text. If we now delete all that text, you'll see that our panel, our chat entry, I'm going to add the word panel to this. I'm going to keep forgetting what that is. Our chat entry panel now has like no height because we don't have any text. Well, as soon as I add some text, our panel has some height. All right. So this is going to be our chat entry panel, and I think we're done with it. I think now we can go into project, put it in our resources folder because it's going to be instantiated. And I'm just going to put it there. All right. So my chat entry panel, I think, is done. And so now what we need is we need a chat entry box. And so since we have some space over here, I'll put it over here. That's kind of weird though. So what if I go take our scroll view and bring the height down a ton and move it up. There we go. And then let's put on our canvas, we're going to do an input field, text mesh pro style because it looks prettier. And I'm just going to stretch the width. Didn't mean to put that at the top, but whatever. Bring it back down here. Don't really need it that wide. So let's make it back to this guy. There we go. And we need our height much more. Let's go like 60. And let's put this down here. And then put it over here. Something like that. So there's our text input field. We'll call this our chat input. And the text area itself is a wee bit small. So let's make our text size 16, 24. Kind of dig 24. And let's center it like that. Make our regular text same thing, 24. Line that up. Okay. So I left a bit of space there on the right. So I'm also going to add a button. And we're going to call this submit button. And put you over here. Double our height. There we go. And let's put the text in there as send. Great. So now we need an FSM on our chat input. So we're going to add FSM, and we want to submit our chat two different ways. So we can get key down. So we can make this the return key, and we can send event submit chat, add it please, and then I'm going to copy paste that. Also want to do the enter key, E-N-T-E-R. I have no idea where the enter, keypad enter, there we go. And submit chat, also button click. Specify game object, submit button, and submit chat. All right, so we have all those different ways that we can submit chat. When we do submit chat, we want to get text mesh pro input text. Okay, you might be tempted to get UGUI text, but we need the input text. It'll give you an error message if you choose the other one. And yes, it's the owner, and we're going to save this as chat text. So we're getting that chat text, and then we want to create an object. No, we're not going to create an object. We're going to send an RPC. So RPC, Photon View RPC broadcast FSM event. Okay. And so what we're going to send in this event is we need some different information that we haven't really collected yet. So we're going to come back to that. How much time do I have? A little bit of time. We need a nickname. So when this starts up, let's go Canvas, UI, input field, text mesh pro. Let's make that 60. Let's make it 80, and let's make the width double that, times 2. And let's position it like here-ish. I think I can make my width even bigger. Let's go like 420 giggity or something. And then our text on that, we're going to go text area. Nope. Placeholder text and text. Let's go 24. Let's go 36. Let's place it there. Make sure it's the same on both. Yeah. All right. But our placeholder text, we're going to put enter nickname. And let's just steal this submit button. Copy. And paste. And position. Move it up under here. And maybe make the height 80. And speed like 200-ish. Cool. And let's say it's submit, not send. Whoa. Okay. That's the transform. I want to move your position. Yeah, there we go. Yeah. So let's do that. And for this one, we'll do it a little bit different. On the button, we'll put button click event. And we'll also do key down. And so on button click, on key down, we're going to do return. and we're going to send the event save nickname. And on the UI button on click event, we're going to save nickname and copy paste, get key down, keypad, enter, save nickname. So here we're going to get Text Mesh Pro input text, and this time we're getting it from here, nickname input field, and we're going to save this as nickname. We're going to make it a global variable though, I think we should do, and we'll just call this nickname. Another thing we could do is whenever we do our pun connection, we could have the player create a nickname, but here we'll just do it like this. This will be fine. So we're going to save the nickname as a global variable, and then we're going to not activate. We still have to choose the activate game object and owner, but also specify game object, nickname input field, activate. Cool. So if I hit, I have 2 errors. Oh, I can't hit play because I have errors on my chat input. So we're getting our text, but we also need to know who's sending our text. So now we're going to build a string that we're going to put in our RPC call. I'll explain this a little bit more in a minute. So the string that we're building is what's going to show up in this chat window at the top. So usually you'll have Philip said, and then what he said. So we're going to start with, I think we can do this in just 2 strings. So we can do, no, we need 3. So the first one is I'm going to get my nickname, so globals nickname, and then I'm going to put a space said colon space, and then element 2 is going to be the chat text, and we're going to store this as RPC text. We need to put that above the build string. Okay, so we're getting what's in this input field, and then we're building our string by getting our nickname, adding space said colon space, and then we're adding what the chat text was from the input field. Also, let's set text mesh pro input text. So what we're doing is we're just clearing out this field after we click send. And then we're going to target everybody on the network. And the event that we're going to send to the chat box. So in our scroll view on the content, we're going to add an FSM here. And then we're going to create a state, and we need a global transition on this. And we're going to call it chat sent, like that. And then add global transition, chat sent. So now we go back to our chat input. We're going to broadcast the remote event, global event. Oh, we didn't make it global. Content, events, global, chat input, state, send the remote event, global event, chat sent. But we want to send some string with it. We need to send this string up here so that it knows what chat to put in the chat box. The reason I chose to do a chat room demo instead of like shooting bullets, I think it's a little bit simpler to understand, because what you're doing when you're like shooting bullets is you have to get the positions, get the rotations, get velocities, and you're going to put all that into a single string and then break it apart. So I felt this was a little bit simpler. So now we're going to send our string data as RPC text because we built it all up here. And so that is what we're going to send to everybody. And now these calls probably performance intensive a little bit because it's sending it to every single game object with an FSM, I believe, because we can't really target which object. Maybe we could, but I think we have to choose broadcast all on an RPC broadcast FSM event. So I think we have to do it this way. But now we're going to go to the content. So once we receive this, what are we going to do? Well, we need to get that text. So event string. So this is going to get the last event, its string data. We're going to store this as RPC string. And then we need to split up that string. Actually, we don't have to split up this string. Yeah, because we just want that whole string. So now what we're going to do is we're going to pun. No, we don't even need to pun instantiate this. Yeah, we don't even need to pun instantiate this because everyone's going to create it on their own. So now we're going to create an object. So I don't really need it in my resources folder, but we'll just leave it there. Chat entry panel. Game object chat entry panel. Do I have a create object 2? I don't. All right. Well, I think there's create object 2 in the ecosystem where you can actually tell it to create. You know what? I wonder if I have create child. No. So now we're just going to set it to its parent. Parent. Set parent. We need to store this object as chat entry panel or whatever you want. And we're going to parent it to content. And yes, we want to reset all that jazz. Otherwise, in the ecosystem, I think there's create object 2 where you can create it with a parent. So it'll automatically create underneath the content. We wouldn't have to have a separate action. All right, so we have the string. We're creating the chat entry panel, but now we got to put the string into the chat entry panel. So we need to go look at our chat entry panel, and our text is its first child and only child. So we're going to go back to our content, and we need to get child of our chat entry panel. Let's rather than use names and all that, let's get child number. So specify game object. Let's maximize this so I have more room. We want our chat entry panel. Should be child at index 0 because it's its only child. Store this as text object. I don't know. And then let's set text mesh pro GUI text. And again, if you don't have these actions, I don't think they're in the ecosystem anymore. You need to get them from GitHub. I'll try to remember to put it in the description of this video. If I don't, just comment, hey, Philip, you didn't put it in the description. And I'll edit the description and put it in there. But yeah, you definitely want these actions. I always copy them from every one of my old projects and paste it into my new one, so I never lose them. All right, so we're going to set the text object with the RPC string. That should be all we have to do. So if we unmaximize this, I feel like I forgot something. One thing we should do is we want to start with the chat input. Well, if we want to send more than one chat, we got to put a finish statement and loop back to the beginning. That's one thing we should do. And then another thing I want to do is I want to not be active. And nickname input field submit button. Copy paste. Let's activate a game object. Specify game object. We're going to activate it. I always uncheck recursive because I always forget if I need it or not. I don't like to think of, is there anything that's a child of that object that's not active that I want to keep not active? So I always just uncheck recursive. And then let's put chat input in here. And let's go ahead and turn the network on. And let's hit play. All right, so we're in a room. Come in here. This is Philip. If I press enter, it's now saved my nickname. It's given me the chat, and I'm going to type, hey, how's it going? Enter. Fail. Okay. All right, something failed. Let's find out what. So I pressed enter on, oh, wait, no, that should be fine. Chat input. It went here. It sent the event that it's supposed to, RPC text, to everybody. It sent the remote event chat sent. So if we go to our content, it received the string, and it created our chat entry panel. We didn't parent it right. Okay, Philip, we're not doing this, we're watching you. My bad. Okay, so if we come back here, we need to set parent, specify we want our chat entry panel to go to the content. Let's try again. And I have to open up my virtual classroom in 9 minutes. That's what I do for a living, if you're curious. All right, I'm Philip. Press enter. This is attempt number 2. Press enter. Gross. Okay. So let's look at scene view. All right, so the panel fits how it should. Here's our chat entry. No, it does not. It does not. Sorry, that was probably annoying. All right, let's hit the ecosystem up. And let's do create. What? I know there's a create child. Okay, it's here in the ecosystem. I just had to search again. Sometimes the ecosystem is a bit wonky, I guess, but this is the package that we want. Create object advanced. I get it. All right, it's done compiling. So now if we delete that, we also don't need set parent anymore. Create object advanced. We want to create chat entry panel. We want to parent, specify the game object to content. Oh, I can just use owner. Cool. All right. I can give the game object name. I wonder what that would be for. And now we'll store this object as chat entry panel. Yeah, I'm curious what that name would be for. Cool. Let's see what happens. Let's hit play. All right. My name is Philip. My name is Philip. Enter. Dag nabbit. So. All right, so I figured out a fix here. Okay, so I feel like no matter what we do, we're not going to be able to get the content size fitter and everything to get it to work because just too much stuff is nested. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go into our prefab here. So let's get into our chat entry prefab. And I think I've already done it. Yeah, I've already done it. So what I'm doing in the prefab is I'm setting the width to the width of the content. But weirdly enough, there's some weird scaling that's happening. So I tried just getting the width of the content and setting that here, and it didn't quite match up. So I had to do it manually. I had to just drag the handles in or adjust the width from the inspector until it matched up and fit in here. And I found out it was about 640 for mine, and then I did the same thing with the text, but I didn't need to because of the vertical layout group. All right, so if I come back over here on my content, I can't remember what I had to change. So let's hit play and see what's happened just from me changing the size of my prefab. All right, so I'll enter my nickname. Hello, this is Philip. All right. So, oh, another thing I did too was I changed the anchor or the pivot. I thought I did. Did I not? Could have sworn I changed my pivot. I might need to. Let's see. Child scale. Yeah. So one thing I had to do was I had to change my pivot points to 0, 1. And so that means 0 on the X, 1 on the Y. So that means this top left corner is the pivot point. And I think I did the same thing on the text. Didn't I? 0, 1. It doesn't make any difference. And in my scene view, if I go back to my panel width is now good. Okay, it's staying at 640. Everything looks good. If I duplicate it though, I don't know why I'm getting weird overlap. I think this is because the anchor point's not centered. I don't know why. It doesn't make any sense that I'm getting this overlap. So another thing I need to do is on my content, I am going to increase the spacing just until it's better. All right, so we're going to change the spacing. Let's make it 60. All right, so we got a couple things to do. So I'm going to stop my playback, and I'm going to go into here, change my pivot to 0, 1, and my text pivot to 0, 1. Not that I think it matters. And then on my content, what was I supposed to do here? Oh, my padding, my spacing needs to be 60. All right, so now if we go in and play, enter nickname, and then enter text. Beautiful. The font's a bit big, and the reason it's big is I don't know exactly what happened, but it got scaled somehow. I don't know why. I don't know why it's scaled. What if we auto size the text? Oh dang. Okay, because the minimum's 18. It should have gotten smaller. If I make this 1, yeah. So my font size I feel like is too big at 36. So what if we go 24? What would that look like if we had a bunch of stuff? All right, 24 is good. I'm gonna go back to 24. All right, so back to the prefab text, set it for 24. And so really, I think everything's built now. So what I can do is save the scene, excuse me, go File, Build Settings, add the open scene, uncheck Development Build, and let's just build this bad boy. All right, here we are, build completed. Let's open it up. All right, here's our beautiful little chat room, and let's enter our name. No, let's call this, we'll call this one Philip. There I am. And then I can come over here and start this one. Look at all these nulls that we have. Did we not, in our canvas, debug, pun, how are we connecting? Where is our connecting thing? Canvas. Oh, don't destroy unload. It's in here. PlayMaker. And let's go into pun connection. So over here, oh, we didn't get all the same information. Oh, it's getting stuck at get room property. So in the last tutorial, we fixed that, but I started this project that's broken. But yeah, when I joined, it should have gotten all that information. But this shouldn't really stop it from working. So I'm going to go ahead and just put the name on this one as Unity. All right. This is Unity. All right, Unity said this is Unity, and if I come over here, it says Unity said this is Unity. And so, hi Unity, I am Philip. And boom, we have a chat room. Now the colors aren't syncing because again, these aren't being pun instantiated. So we sent an RPC call event, and then each client did the randomness on its own. So it got the string. That's all that was instantiated across the network was really just that string, and that string value was then used to create these chat boxes. All right, so pretty cool. All right, I hope you enjoyed this tutorial on building a chat room just out of RPC calls. There's some other things you would want to do with this eventually, like setting up auto scroll and stuff like that, but that's for like a whole UI tutorial. Thank you so much for everybody who's been putting some amazing comments on the videos. It's really motivated me to do more because I knew how it was when I first started with Unity and PlayMaker. There wasn't a lot of tutorials out there for things I wanted to do, so that's why I'm doing this. So thank you so much for those great comments. If you're not somebody who likes to comment and you'd rather throw money my way, that's cool too. You can check out my Patreon page, just patreon.com/PhilipHurlitz, and you can buy me a cup of coffee or something. I'd appreciate that too. All right, well, if you have any other ideas of what you would like to be I do a tutorial on, comment on this video. I'm also going to be putting some polls up on the Patreon page, so even if you don't want to add money, which is cool, you just want to be part of the community and have different ways to interact with me, I'm going to be putting up polls and other ways to interact on the Patreon page as well, so still check it out. All right, until next time, this is Philip, and thank you for tuning in and checking out these tutorials.